the idea was how we could introduce the new Aegean through their lounges, because Aegean is not it's a regional airline. It's not kind of a public airline. It's a private company. But at the same time, it's the only Greek company. The prominent Greek airline. So it doesn't have its own airport like some other national airlines have. In that case, their lounge is their home, is where they can showcase their brand and their values and their identity. So it was quite a big toll to design their lounge, because that's where the guests and the travelers going into flying with Aegean would come in connection with the brand, apart from the aeroplanes. We worked in very close contact with Aegean itself and its owner, Dimitris Vasilakis, who has a very strong vision about how he wanted this to feel like a contemporary company, but again, rooted in Greece. Aegean means the word comes from the Aegean Sea. The Aegean Sea has a very characteristic dark, deep blue. It's a sea that different to our other seas, especially Ionian, which is much more turquoise. This has a dark blueness to it. And I think a lot of the postcards of kind of Aegean islands, you see that they've got this characteristic blueness to it. At the same time, the cycladic kind of structures, the island houses, have a roundness. This is because most of them are built out of stone, and making stone sharp is expensive. It needs a lot of more resources in order to make a stone sharp. So the roundness of kind of the buildings in the Aegean region comes from the fact that it was not a very, it was a kind of a humble structures. And we wanted to bring that roundness with us as well. So the blue and the roundness came from that. At the same time, of course, we're talking about a contemporary company that is about air travel, this technological advanced machine that flies through the air, and so we wanted to bring some of that qualities within the lounge itself. So stainless steel, glass, the kind of elements that you definitely associate with technologically advanced structures became part of our palette. So although maybe the color and the geometries are more kind of rooted in tradition of the Aegean Sea, at the same time, the materiality comes from the technologically advanced kind of aeroplane. The way that we started kind of deciding on how this will pan out was we wanted to make sure that even before you enter the lounge, you felt like you're in the lounge. So the facade of the lounge is not just a facade, but it's actually a courtyard. So as you enter on that level where the lounge is, you're already part of the lounge. The reception is outside, it's not inside, in order to kind of be more welcoming. But at the same time, all of the identity is already out there. We're not waiting for the guests to enter in order to talk about it. So basically the lounge is already there.
I believe I read somewhere in the profile that you used a certain type of modern material in this, like the one they use in aircrafts. Was it the blue cladding in here?
No, we all our upholstery is upholstery that is graded. That is for it's the same upholstery that we've used also for the aeroplanes.
Oh.
So a lot of that material kind of creates the same lounge materiality. The stainless steel was painted, but there's a specific technique. Let me just remember the English. It's sorry. It's not electrostatic. It's anyway. It's baptized in a big pool of water, and then through electricity, it kind of fuses the material with the color itself. So the blue has fused into the stainless steel. It's not a coating. And we wanted that in order for that to feel more natural and also for the material to come through. The name will come to me in English soon. So yeah, and also the panes of glass are painted with a different type of blue at the back, and it's got different types of films in order for us to be able to control opacity and transparency. So wherever we wanted to hide something at the back, there's total opacity, and whenever we wanted to have the ability to look through, there is kind of translucent, like in this area here.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Dimitri, before we move on, can you explain a bit about this three elements in the middle? It's such a unique design. There was any special concept behind it, or yeah?
Well, we wanted the olive tree to feature in the heart of this courtyard. As I said, this entrance we treated it as a kind of a cycladic courtyard, and there is no cycladic courtyard without a tree. So we wanted to find a way where we could bring that element here, and the olive tree was the obvious choice. The planter itself, we didn't want it to be only for the tree, but we wanted it to interact. So you can see that the kind of the shapes are again reminiscent of kind of cycladic structures, where one kind of the kind of benches peel away from the wall and allows you to kind of interact with the building itself. So that's where its origins lie. Of course, the control in the geometry allowed us to tell a more contemporary story. So instead of having a kind of a more handmade finish, there's a very strict geometrical sequence of curves, of different curve on the top than the bottom, and a very specific angle in order to talk about the contemporary nature of Aegean.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, perhaps we can go into the interiors. I'm curious how. Yes.
So as you come in from a little corridor that you come in close proximity to the blue itself, and because of the different facets, it really plays with the light, and you can see that it's actually done not with a plastic finish, but with the fusing of the color inside. So as you come in, there's different areas. There's the drinks area, food area. There's more loud and also calmer. There's fast pace and there's slower pace. So we created a layout that catered for this multiple sequencing for people that come in for a quick coffee, and people that come for a longer stay. So you can see different areas. So this is this is the kind of drinking station as well. So there's also Aegean wanted to have different points throughout the layout where they could stage events. So at different times of the year, they have different events. So there's kind of wine tasting and there's other things that kind of take place. So they wanted to be able to have these stations that were more flexible. The materials that we've used, other than the anodized, I've remembered it. Sorry, anodized. Anodization is the process. So anodized stainless steel is the Greek white marble, terrazzo, flooring, which is again quite characteristic of Athens itself and also Greek. And then accents of brass in order to bring a sense of well-madeness and quality, offset with lacquered brass as well, which is some of the custom-made light features that we did.
I really love the blue of this stainless steel. I mean, it really brings out the accent.
And you know that you used a lot of type of furniture, a lot of different materials, colors, and somehow they all look great and works together. I even watched videos about this project, and it works perfectly. So I know a lot of designers that have problem matching different type of interior elements or materials. How you guys get to this point of merging everything together this seamlessly and great?
Well, we have our FF&E department and our design department. They work seamlessly together. So we apply kind of the process that furniture makers take when they're testing different materials, and we work a lot with live mood boards. So quite early on in our design process, when materiality kind of comes in, we try things physically. So the anodized stainless steel, and I'm going to keep on calling anodized because I remembered it. So now, so the anodized stainless steel was something that we started very early on to test it. So we had so many different versions because we knew that we needed to know exactly what the blue was in order to offset everything against it. Because if it was more purpley or more green or more blue, it really would have set the tone for everything else. So that was the first thing that we wanted to anchor. And then once that was done, then we started playing with the different materials and live mood boards, material mood boards with leather, with terrazzo, marble. And we wanted to talk about the obvious Greek and white, but we wanted to kind of also go to the opposite side of the spectrum with kind of much warmer tones, such as an orangey kind of tan leather and the brass. And they were, of course, kind of tipping the scale a bit, kind of bringing a balance in the otherwise quite cool colored palette, bringing a bit of warmth. The wood as well, the desaturated wood, was also, we felt, necessary in order to bring, again, warmth, but also a different sound as you walk. So when you walk there, kind of the sound stops, and then it becomes a bit of a stopping point.
Oh, you did a
rather
really
than the hard
great job
terrazzo.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, even that you even consider the sound of the footsteps. I think it's really like detail oriented.
The sound was a big consideration. All of the ceiling is a sound absorbing ceiling. So this is working with a company that creates these specific panels.
Yes.
And we have, of course, it's a deep ceiling, so we've got all the mechanical things kind of coming from it, so we can conceal them. But most importantly, it is trapping all of the sound. So the sense of luxury, I think I always kind of offset it with the quality of sound. So the relaxedness comes from really low sound reverberation. And that you associate with the quality of a space. Whereas if you've got a tighter space, which a lot of reverb, then it's really cool and energetic, and it kind of puts you in a very different mood, like a small bar. But when you go to a lounge, you want this to kind of be calmer. So sound absorption in this project was very, very important, especially because the hard-wearing materials meant that they really reflected sound really strongly. So if we didn't have that ceiling, it would feel very echoey.
So you mentioned earlier that there's a place for wine testing. I think that is somewhat like specific for your culture. what are the aspects of culture that was considered in the layout and in the design of this lounge?
Well, because this is a project which is trying to, well, a company that are trying to showcase Greek culture. There's every opportunity on anything offered is Greek. So there's a strong Greek culture for coffee drinking. So there's boiled coffee, which in Greece we call Greek coffee. In Turkey they call Turkish coffee. In Syria, I'm sure they call it Syrian coffee. So all around the kind of southeast Mediterranean, we claim it for ourselves. But so there's boiled coffee. There's which takes a long time to make because you need to kind of slowly boil it. You have, so there's a coffee station. There are events for that as well. There's different types of food that are very local. So there's kind of quick snacks and slower food as well. So there's rhythm in all offerings. And this was not so much only a cultural trait, but it was kind of to tune in with a different pace of the travelers. Again, I travel a lot and I find myself either rushing through a lounge and just needing to grab, I don't know, like a juice or something, or having a big stopover and I've got, I don't know, 3 hours where I need to probably also work, so I need place. So there is places to work as well, not just to enjoy. So yeah, there's different places there.
Yeah, I like the way how you you transition between that. You guys can do this really raw type of architecture to this really a business type of interior, very prestigious. So I think that tells a lot about the level of design skill that your firm has have. So just something, maybe a last question from me about this project. You mentioned about acoustics. Was there a specific reason for the ceiling heights? Was it like a consideration to like maybe comfort or apart from just playing a part in acoustics?
The ceiling height was more about having the sense of kind of the quality of space, the luxuriousness of height, in order to be able to kind of have the feeling of the space to be quite generous. Also, the airport building allowed us quite a lot of height. So it was actually really, really generous there. So it was more about that. The fact that we chose a ceiling which is sound absorbent also meant that we could not limit ourselves with height. Of course, the higher the ceiling, the more reverberations that can happen. So it was quite important that we use the sound absorbent ceiling for that.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Just one other question from me. Dimitris, do you have any floor plan or diagram about the circulation and zoning of this place? Because I'm really curious to know, if.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this was the floor in the airport, in the Eleftherios Venizelos Airport in Athens, that was given to Aegean in order to make their lounge. So to start with, it's a great space because it is on its own. It was not kind of in a corridor of multiple lounges. The other lounges that we have made in different parts and other airports have been not as generous in terms of space. But this one had this great opportunity that it had 3 facades. So you have the landslide on this side, you have the air side on this side, and you look over to the to the communications tower right in the front. So we started off with having really good views on all 3 sides. And as you come up from the internal circulation of the airport, we had this space which is not part of the lounge, but that was we were allowed to kind of, in a way, dress it in the same design, so it feels as if it is part of the lounge. So you enter into a courtyard, and as you enter into the courtyard, there is the kind of welcome desk there. You come through this entrance point. This is a rolling diagram, so that's going to be a challenge for me to kind of do it as fast as possible. But so you enter from this point here, and you exit exactly from another point just next to it. So the entrance and the exit are not the same, they're different. Again, with the whole idea of creating spirals rather than circles in the studio in our circulation. So you come in, and we have identified these different cores around. So this one is the coffee station. This one here is the food and kind of eatery on the more hustle and bustle of the land side. So this area, what you look at is cars, and kind of it becomes, it's a bit faster. So that's why we brought the faster pace on this side. Whereas on this area, you look at the aeroplanes and it's much faster. Your eye travels. So we wanted to bring on this side the slower pace of the lounge. So the eatery, the coffee station is on this side. Then right in front is something that is kind of more for quick coming in and going out. So it's kind of tables that are more to do with the coffee. And then on this side, this is where the kind of loungers come. So there's the bigger couches, bigger sofas, lounge chairs, and even the recliners for sleeping, looking out onto the kind of the open view of the air side. On this side, we have another coffee station / wine station. And at the back here, we have the meeting rooms, which is for more meeting. So again, a bit quieter for people, which I've used them quite a few times, having a meeting there because of stopovers. So I could kind of show you, this is the entrance, kind of quick coffee grab and go. This is more where the lounging part starts. This is the second coffee station. These are the loungers that you have. We've also designed a series of sound absorption vertical elements. So next to your head, especially when you have these kind of loungers, you have a partition which visually also gives you a bit of privacy, but also it absorbs extra sound. So it's even quieter just next to your head. So these are all sound absorption panels with felt. And we've got, you can see them here as well. They also have charging points as well. So all of these elements are bespokely designed for Aegean as kind of multi-purpose. So one is, of course, charging points, and the other one is screen, visual screen, and sound absorption. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You considered every single person needs, and you provided it for them.
Yeah, I mean, this lounge is, I only wish you could go into this place someday and like experience this lounge.
I hope you do. I hope you do,
Yeah.
and you just experience also the Greek islands. You know,
Yes,
it's a
yeah.
good it's a good gateway.